I mean, who better than this guy to kind of share those stories, as he is just freshly back from a hot destination.
How many beach resorts do you own?
Zero.
Oh, well, just don't answer that question.
Chicken fingers.
What is going on with your hand?
You all right there?
You burned them.
No, I'm not George Costanza. I'm not a hot hand model. I'm just I've got some chicken fingers and some pizza cooking, and I just wanted to make sure that
you've got a lot of George Costanza traits, though.
I don't have a wallet this big, put it that way, full of receipts.
You look like that guy.
Look how healthy you are.
Finger cooking with Bill when he had the oven mitts going there.
How healthy am I? I literally just told you there's a piece of pizza, one chicken finger, and one pierogi.
Wait, so this is for you, not your kids?
No, it's for me, because I've got to go to the studio right away. So I'm just grabbing everything that I found in the fridge and warmed it up.
Is this freezer food or
no? There's an Italian bakery right around the corner from our house. Like it's 7 minutes door to door. I almost go there twice a week for sure. But it's fresh gnocchi, it's fresh lasagna, it's calzone, it's you name it. So I picked up a little bit this morning, and I'm just on the run. I mean, I'm excited. Talk a little Flames, talk a little league, what's going on. I have a question for you guys, though. Is Dan Vladar in play at all or not? What do you hear?
I don't think he is, because I think his value has dropped to a point where they don't want to lose Devin Cooley on the Wranglers. Now, the Wranglers have had a weird second half, but they want to get their young kids there, a long playoff run. And if you trade for Vladar, you need a second goalie on the roster. Cooley would be called up. He's not on your clear day roster. He can't go to the American League for the playoffs.
So, all because you want your minor league team to have success, that you're not going to trade. You don't think you could get a second or third rounder for Vladar?
I don't. I mean, if he has another,
if you can, you should be trading him.
He's gone. If you could, I think that, they got him for a third, 4 years ago. There was hope if he had a really good year, you could get a second for him. He's had a really pedestrian year. With the last 5 have been good. That's pretty much the best stretch he's had all year, but he makes almost 3. You'd have to get a goalie back, and I'd think you'd get maybe a late third or a fourth or a fifth. At that point, what are you accomplishing?
Well, I'll give you an example. I just saw the Florida Panthers got Vanacek. I mean, Vladar or Vanacek. I mean, I kind of like Vladar.
Well, what did they get in return?
I don't know. Feathers, maybe.
A guy that's playing in the A.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't. I was mentally preparing for a show I was going to be on, so I didn't get to check to see what they got for it. But I just saw Vanacek went to Florida, and I thought to myself, why couldn't that have been, Vladar? You move an asset and you give a pathway to Cooley, but I understand it makes more sense to have him. It just sucks for Cooley. He's had a pretty damn good season, and he gets his reward is he gets to play in the AHL for it.
Well, and he got hurt and has been really mediocre since. So I think they just want to let him work there. And Patrick Gillies is the name of a human that went back and trade. So he's 25.
Clark's uncle.
I'm just looking to see if he's
uncle
played in the NHL. I don't know.
Not sure how that timeline works, but
it's right now it's dollar in, dollar out, that type of stuff. We're putting together our list for Trade Center, and I was looking at some of the goalies. I'm like, why is Vladar not on there? And that's why I wanted clarification, because it just didn't. To me, it doesn't make sense. They should. He's a guy that probably won't be back. He's unrestricted, so. If you could get an asset for him, then so be it. I mean, I know Calgary's in a playoff spot, so you're going to need some depth there too. Let's not forget, we're talking playoffs here. Playoffs.
I think there's also, on the flip side, there's a recognition that if Wolf is not able to go, if this team makes the playoffs and they don't have Wolf, they're done anyway. So I don't know how concerned are they about the fate of their American League team. You get a second or third rounder. Hey,
they would have done it.
Sorry to the Wranglers. We're making this
100%.
deal.
I agree.
And for Vladar, he's had ups and downs. He's been a little better. Well, he's been better as of late, but he had a stretch there. He was like 4 or 5 winless starts in a row. Yeah. He's now got 3 Three
Yeah, I
straight.
mean, he hasn't gotten into a groove this year. I get it, but I look at the raw ability of that goaltender. He's big. He's got a nice butterfly. I think he's a pretty good goalie.
Would you play him tomorrow?
Would I play him tomorrow?
Play him as a last chance, like because I would think Conroy's
Friday.
Thinking the exact same as us. Where if I can get a second or a third, of course I'm going to trade him. Sorry, but
that's a tall task to go into Dallas.
I know, but if you do, does another team even look at it? Is it too late? Doesn't matter.
So his NHL save percentages over the last 5 seasons: 886, 906, 895, 882, 894. No, but just because I want to
building the negative side. I know that's
okay. So tell me about the positive side. What is he?
What Noodles just said.
What Noodles just said.
This is the conversation.
You love to fight with the guests we bring on the show.
No, I want to ask him what he's
badgering the guests. Should I get my chicken fingers or not? Should I wait for you guys to argue? Here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
What is the league average in save percentage right now?
Probably 904 or something.
Yeah, I think it's lower. I think it might be.
So he's below average.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I think he's close to average. And again, there's guys in the league. I just think I thought about this the other night. There's been some really bad goaltending this year.
Philly last night. Oh my God.
Well, but you got a mutant in net. Like it's just okay. Let's put a 6'8" guy or like whatever it is and just throw him in there. Like it's weird to watch. I watched the Toronto Maple Leafs play Pittsburgh the other day. And this Bumfield or whatever his name is, Blomqvist, like a wrist shot from the point goes in, and they're talking in Toronto. It's the greatest goal that the Leafs have scored this year, and I'm like, it was a wrist shot from the blue line. Like I'm like, what's going on? I watched James Reimer give up a goal in overtime the other night to Mike Matheson, and it's a wrist shot that goes through him. Like the goaltending. There's been top tier, and then there's been some really subpar performances. And believe me, I'm not sitting here on my high horse. I've been in the other side. I would be in the category that I am talking about as a goaltender. So there's people that be like, well, I understand that. What I'm doing is sitting on my couch now or sitting on the beach or sitting in my hotel room and watching these games and going, what is going on here? Like goaltending, there's been the top tier, and then there's been a really big pocket of not good goaltending this year.
So you've argued to a certain extent, and I don't disagree. The goaltending, a guy signs at $5 million. Oh my God, how could they sign Joey Daccord to $5 million? He's a second-tier goaltender. You give Blake Coleman, who gets 6 goals, but it's okay for him to have. Is that why? Are the GMs worried that it's like, well, yeah, I could give him $5 million. But did you watch? Like, if I was watching the game last night, I was thinking, what Torts has just got to be pulling his hair out. I'm like, I think I'd go to practice and be like, or after the game and pull the goalies into my office and say, like, you realize you're in the NHL, right?
Like
you're playing in the NHL. Like you can.
I think there should be a rule. It's not going to happen. And believe me, I'm pro player. I want guys to sign for as much and as long term. But I think I look at Kevin Lankinen signs that deal in Vancouver. Like, what if Vancouver said, we're giving you 3 years? Like, would he be like, you know what I mean? Like, did it have to be 5? Like,
he didn't have a contract in September.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but that's what I'm saying. He was a walk-on.
And so this is why goalies don't get the money you want, because go look at Tristan Jarry. He has like 6 shutouts 1 year, and he's in the American League the next. Like, looks like a guy, isn't a guy.
But you're right. But then, okay, my counter to that is Erik Karlsson, as he put his gear on this year, and they're paying him $11 million. And it's like, okay, yeah, he got 100 points 2 years ago, and now he needs to pay $2 to rent a towel after the game. Like it's because he's not sweating. Like it's like, to me, I could argue and say like the Blake Colemans who not hide. He's a very good player. I love him, but he's not front and center every game going, geez, he played great. He, tell me how he played. Like to me, that sometimes he just melts into the lineup and he makes $5 million. Whereas the goaltending position, it's so much under the limelight that it's like, okay, you just rattled off Vladar's stats. Well, keep in mind, this is a team that's in transition. It hasn't been world beater teams on the teams that he played for as well. So you know,
That's where he struggles, because when you measure his numbers compared to the other guy that plays in the same net with the same team, he's much worse.
yeah.
Like this year, they alternated starts for the first 2.5 months.
We wouldn't trade Wolf, so you're comparing him.
Wolf is the one.
What I'm saying is the environmental stuff isn't hard to figure out. There's another goalie that plays on the same team, like Markstrom last year, Wolf this year. Like he's
so
always
if you're
got
a top 10 NHL goaltender, so do you think that we should, if you're trading a top 10, we're talking about a second or third pick? Like, what are you talking about?
What I'm saying is, rather than look at his save percentage and just say, well, we can't really say it's a bad team from him. If you look at expected goals, he's getting crushed. And you look at goal save above expected, Wolf's been outstanding. We know Wolf's good.
Comparing him to Wolf.
Of course. But environmentally, we understand, like, when you cook in the environment he's in, he's not been good. He's been below average.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying the numbers don't lie. What I'm saying is I would, instead of doing the numbers on his own team, I would say do his numbers put him on another team, put him on, like, there's probably a team out there that could use an upgrade, what they believe of what they've got going. And that was my point, is you're right. In his environment, he's definitely number 2. I was number 2 in the environment with Kiprusoff. There was never ever going to be a moment where I was number 1 in that scenario. Like, I'm not going to put myself, and we shouldn't put Vladar up against Wolf. There's clearly a separation.
Florida didn't get Vanacek because they're hoping he's going to take over the crease. It's in case of emergency break. Right. And that's what it would be for Vladar. That
was my point, is I'm looking at, and this would never happen, but Edmonton needs a goaltender. Not to come in and play right now, even though that probably would help. It is if Stuart Skinner on Saturday tweaks his groin and he's out for 6 weeks, you've got Calvin Pickard and Olivia Rodrigo, and whatever Oliver Rodriguez or whatever his name is.
He's on today.
Rodrigue.
He is just
Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
Right. So, and he might be a nice goaltender who's up and coming and had some good AHL numbers. But at the end of the day, that team has high expectations. They need a goaltender. They need to trade for somebody between now and Friday, even if it's Ville Husso, who slid through waivers and they put him in Anaheim, and now you can keep him in Bakersfield because he doesn't count against your cap. But at least he has NHL experience. They need, like, Edmonton needs a goaltender. In a perfect world, maybe it would be Vladar, but it's not going to happen. Obviously, it'd have to go to.
We just need a 3-way.
You need trade him to Buffalo, and Buffalo trades him to whatever. Point being, I don't think they can afford Vladar, but Edmonton needs a goaltender. There's other teams that need depth at that position. That's why I felt that maybe Vladar, but I'm in the minority here. I've lost this argument. I feel
I used to dream on him. I loved him because he's huge and he battles hard, and you see the highlight reel saves. But I'm just waiting for 1 year where he even looks league average. And it was kind of the first year he got here. That was it. And I just see a guy that's huge. Like you talk about Ayrton last night. Same story for me. He's 6'7", and he's out of position all the time, making circus saves.
And you could see the net. Like with the guy's 6'7", you should see no net.
Like he's 8 inches taller than his counterpart, who you never seen that behind. I've been waiting. I've quit him.
Yeah, you're just. It's funny to watch some of these guys, who are really put together in the net. Like Vasilevsky, I was looking this morning. I get the Sport Logic, right? So, and I get all the goalie stuff sent to me. He's second in goals saved above expectation this year. Logan Thompson's 1, Vasilevsky's 2. The kid who beat Edmonton last night is 3, Dostal. He's a hell of a goaltender.
He's been great.
He's been great. Like that, but that's where numbers you can bring in and go, Anaheim hasn't been that great of a team, but this Dostal, he's a player. And you look at it. Now, it'll be interesting to see as, we get near the deadline, what's Connie doing? What's Edmonton doing? What's Toronto? Like I think there's going to be, I keep saying this every year. I feel like all hell's going to break loose and maybe nothing's going to happen, but I don't know. Like does Edmonton or does Calgary add, or did they just kind of?
I think they're going to hold.
Be minor tweaks, if anything. Dean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think if they add, it's maybe on the back end. It's not going to be anything that
they can't pack it in,
future,
and they can't really go for it because they're not positioned for.
They don't have any
changers.
Yeah, aside from Vladar, who's been good now. Like they got Joel Hanley playing in their top 4. Could you upgrade on him? Probably, yeah. They don't want to be giving up anything significant in futures.
And is there anybody that needs to be traded? I mean, you already got rid of Kuzmenko. You know, that deal's already been gone, right?
I think if first of all, I don't know who's calling on the guys in Calgary. Like if you watch the team, there's pieces, but it's fairly flat. Like Anderson would be appealing to a lot of teams, but are they going to let him?
They're not letting him walk. They're
In a playoff position. If Connie had a big brass set right now and wanted to dump a bunch of guys because teams were calling, I'd support him. I don't see this team. I've said it for the last week or 10 days, 2 weeks. It's great that they've competed. They can't elevate their game.
Yeah.
There's no, we're here during the regular season and we worked our ass off and now we're in the playoffs and we're going to go to the next level. This is it. It's capped out.
Okay, so I'll play the devil's advocate of that. You're going to play Winnipeg. Now, Winnipeg hasn't had a great track record the last couple of years. And, you know, they're in a 3-game losing streak right now, having a tough time scoring. I think they're a top-tier team. I don't see a lot of weakness in them. But they're still a team that has to prove something to me and to the hockey world as to, can they push through? Can they push through their demons? All of a sudden, this Wolf kid decides nothing's going to get by him, and they start winning games 2-1 and 3-2. And, you know, you could, I mean, pathways, what if, coulda, shoulda, all of that. You know, it could be a nice little surprise run. You
like numbers. I'm big into science
like numbers too.
And AI, but like run an AI projection and probably you can just go to Bet365 and see the odds of it. Like
how many times have the Flames win a 7-game series?
Yeah,
probably like 25 to 30.
Right? Like
because it's a crazy sport. We saw Seattle beat Colorado a couple of years ago. We've seen wild cards beat 1 seeds. We've seen President's Trophy winners. We saw the best regular season team of our lives losing round 1 2 years ago. Yeah. Boston Bruins.
I just don't think that
crazy stuff happens.
The Flames are stacked they can't score, they can't create, and look, and it's funny. Like Wolves, the goaltending's fine, even if you think Vladar is not good. The last little bit has been fine, but if you get great goaltending, their defense aren't. It's scary. Like, and then they're going to be matching up even more in the playoffs. Yes, I've been on the runs where teams get hot and you do damage with very little, but I don't see it.
Yeah, there's not a Kipper or an Iggy.
You know, the thing that's exciting about Wolf is that you're hoping he is your Kipper for the next,
looks to be
9 years, but you can't look at the two rosters. Like, remember last year we're talking about series. You always want to match up these lines against, like, they're just going to lose every line and every pairing when you do that with Winnipeg. Yeah, and yes, maybe Wolf's great, but you could still get swept if he's great.
I'm changing topics. They put Kachuk on IR, whatever. Great.
LTIR.
Art for NHL. If you were a guy on Team USA, would you be pissed at him for playing? Great. Love your heart, this and that. You can't even skate. You're out and we lose. And Connor's sitting in the press box. And I'm not cheering for Team USA, but I'm like,
I'd be more pissed if they put Chris Kreider in there over him. I mean, that Kreider was public skating too. I mean, like that's the problem I had. Is I was like, Chris Kreider, who's not having a great season. Like if Chris Kreider was having Kyle Connor's season or his 50-goal season, you're like, okay, I can understand that. I get that they wanted more meat, like more size, right? Like because Kreider's a big, powerful man. But I didn't understand that move. I thought about this. Like that Team USA team, they lose, and almost half that team is banged up, and they've gone back and taken the carnage back to their club team.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think Gensel scored his first game back, and there was some guys, but like outside of that, like there is a massive hangover for a lot of those guys that have played in that tournament.
McAvoy got hurt. Fox is out. Brady and Matthew.
If you're the GM, and you should be, why aren't you telling McDavid and Gensel and whoever the hell else that just played on, what was it, a Thursday night? Sorry, you're not playing Saturday.
Yeah, it was
stupid.
Well, Edmonton, they win. So Canada wins Thursday night. It's
Yeah.
probably beers and karaoke till 5 o'clock in the morning. He's on a private bird to Philly. He's playing at 1 o'clock on Saturday.
What are you
They
doing?
play Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, if I'm correct. 3 and 4 coming up.
I
They didn't
wonder
send
if
them out for
LeBron
anything.
James would do that.
Oh, well, no, he's
Load
There's
management.
put it this way.
GM.
There's a guy
Hold
there.
your
Like
head on your
basketball. Basketball has guys with nicknames called street clothes. Anthony Davis, like Charles Barkley calls him street clothes. That could be the biggest indictment of a nickname ever. Like,
And he makes triple what anyone in the league in the NHL makes.
yeah, it's
Go get it.
insanity.
No, but
It's
that's
insanity.
bad management, is it not?
You know what? It's two things. I get it's TV contracts and all that they want the Thursday night. That's league scheduling. Like, how do you have a final game on a Thursday and a game on Saturday? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That they should have had it the Wednesday. They had the 2 days off in between. They should have had it the Wednesday, and everybody should have had a mandatory like travel day and then another practice day and all that. You're expecting. Listen, I think it was an absolute slam dunk.
Yeah,
I was on this show bad mouthing it for months, and then I was wrong. I get it, but now what you're seeing is carnage coming back into the league because 97 hasn't looked the same. I thought he was the only guy who actually pissed the drop for Edmonton last night, and then Edmonton went to sleep after the first 10 minutes. But if you look at the guys who have come back, none of them have hit the ground running. Mitch Marner hasn't been brilliant. Austin Matthews hasn't. I'm just looking at Canadian top talent, right? This Elias Pettersson, I don't know what's going on there. Like I saw that stat where JT Miller has, what is it? He has more points than Pettersson has shots on goal.
He hasn't hit 2 shots in a game since January,
which is insane. So I look at this tournament was great, but there's been no cooling off period for these guys and the drop off. I think Jordan Binnington won his first game back and was really good. Outside of that, I'm trying to remember a guy who was great in that tournament and has hit the ground right back into the NHL, just dominating.
It's the bottom half guys like Harley and Hagel have played well, I thought. But yeah, like the big guys have struggled. Like, and to Rhett's point, if you're the Oilers, you're playing a 3 and 4 coming out of that, give Connor 2. Like, why are you even putting him in? Like,
I wonder
and it's your schedule will be damned. Like, what do they what's really going to get figured out for the Oilers in the end of February and March?
Nothing.
It's the spring that matters.
That's why they're playing like that. They look like right now their attitude, that team mirrors Evan Bouchard's like attitude. They just kind of float around out there and whatever. Like, and to me, they will have a level where they'll turn it up where they were like that before. I was joking that they were playing unbelievable and they looked unstoppable. And then John Klingberg, they put him in the lineup and it's almost like
they've been the worst team in the league since they got him.
Honest to God, like it's insanity. Not, you can't blame it on him, but there is something weird about like that addition because he looks like a contest winner right now. So
why would you think he wouldn't look like that? He looked like that in Toronto. He looked like that in Anaheim. Like, well, it's 3 years of this thing not being able to defend.
It was a low value move, and at some point they can flush him. But like, I think they're trying to give him as much ice time as much to get him up to speed. But it's like, at what cost? Because he's jamming up his partner. He's jamming up a lot of things, right? So I don't know. They've got a lot of I think the league needs to be sorted out, and it has been a weird time coming out of this Four Nations. But you look at Calgary, they're right there, and they needed that win last night, regardless of how it unfolded. You know, with the goalies playing dodgeball, all of that type of stuff. It was just at the end, you got the win, you got the 2, and you're moving on to Dallas.
Do we got to let him go?
He is well rested. Are you burning your pizza and chicken fingers? Your phalanges?
I'm very concerned about it. There's no
Let's take a look right now.
It's fine. I mean, honestly, you look over there.
No smoke.
It's a good sign.
Let's go. No other show is giving you this coverage, folks. The Jamie McLennan Kitchen Show.
Jeez.
Some nice parchment paper down there protecting the baking sheet. I like that.
You have to have the parchment paper for sure.
Yeah, you got to have the parchment paper.
Yeah, the parchment paper is a key.
Now, do you wear an apron? Do you tuck a napkin in? How do you?
They wear no tarp, but that's that's just me. No.
Inevitably, you're going to spill.
I wear I'm dressed up because I got to go to the studio today. But I'll be wearing a t-shirt and a hat, and my hair's on sideways. But it's we're in good shape here today. So
You guys have some sort of a chimp or a live animal to do picks?
the emu, or what was it? Wasn't Gino Retta was chasing emus around one year or something like that in the parking lot?
That chimpanzee went on a heater for a few years. I made a bit of money. He was, but he lost the touch. I don't know. He got cocky.
If I walk into the studio and there's a chimpanzee there, I'm just walking right out. Like I can't do it. Like I can't.
I'm done.
Because animals hate me. They'll attack my face like that. Like animals don't like my face. That chimpanzee or whatever would go right for me. Like he.
How was the coconut? The $30.
Yeah, $30 US. Keep in mind. US.
Yeah.
So that's 40 Canadian or more, or whatever it is.
Booze, isn't it? I didn't realize there's booze in it. I was losing my mind. Now it makes a little more sense.
Well, the guy tried. What concerns me is the guy's like, yeah, I'll put some fresh ice in there. And I'm like, here comes the hand. The hand, he scoops it out and throws it in. And then out of like some cooler, like you don't know where that ice is made.
It's subtle, Jerry. You got Hep C or something.
Did he strain it through an old sock? That's his filter. I don't know. It's just concerning. Like I that's why I was like, all right, so be it. If I'm there, it's a beautiful picture.
Oh,
Beautiful.
it's beautiful. Yeah.
The booze will help that. That'll kill all the bacteria in that ice.
I know, but I don't know. It was fine. The trip was good. We enjoyed ourselves. It's a good reset, and everyone else has spring break coming up. I got to work right through and call games and stuff. So it was good to sneak away.
How was the casino? How was the water slide?
The water slide, I went down it's called a lazy river.
Yeah.
I almost drowned. Like I don't swim very well.
It's a crazy lazy river there, right?
Crazy river.
But it's about 3 feet, 4 feet deep. I was on with my son and I got flipped over and then I panicked a little bit. And so it wasn't good. He had to save me. My 7-year-old had to drag me out to give me the fireman's carry. Yeah. And no water slides for me. My daughter went on. I just watched and took pictures and, I watched 3 games on the Saturday. Everyone else was by the beach. I'm like, watch a few games.
Just like Rhett, hey? Just like Rhett.
Yeah. It was an afternoon game on. And what am I going to do on a beach? Nothing. Like you're just sitting there. Like I'm a busy guy.
Yeah.
Give us one crazy trade you want to see or an incredible proclamation for Friday's deadline at 1 p.m. Mountain.
Okay. So I thought Edmonton could trade for Trouba and get Anaheim to eat half his salary. And then you throw in Billy Husso, Inspector Clouseau, as a goaltender for the Miners, and they could just move him right to Bakersfield because they don't have the cap space. And then you could continue to add on somebody up front. I thought the Frederick deal was fantastic because they got him for nothing, really. It was picks and prospect. The LaChance kid wasn't going to sign there. I played with Scott LaChance. His son was, so LC, his son was, he's the head scout of New Jersey, and magically his son ends up in New Jersey. So trades, crazy one. If Calgary traded Kadri, that would be a crazy one for me because he has full control, all of that. But I guarantee you that to me, there would be teams that would be calling on Kadri. Everyone's talking about adding depth to their either second or third line center. But I just don't know if you could get it done or if Connie could get it done or if it's the right fit for any team. But I think there would be teams that would look for that type of dynamic. Those are crazy trades for me. That would be, and maybe another one would be Pettersson. Anywhere Pettersson would go. Jeez. Like that one would be.
I'm Vancouver. I'm moving heaven and earth to get him the hell out of here.
But
it's so low though. It's so
11-6, and I call those Ottawa games. There's always rumblings. Okay, would you trade player X, Batherson, Norris, you name it, for Pettersson? I don't know, man. Like I
compete.
I think Pettersson's a hell of a player who just has lost his way. I hope he can find it because the league's better for it. But that Vancouver team has looked so different. They've had so much turnover. If you looked at Hockey DB from their team, the start of last season to like now, You don't even recognize it.
Even the playoff team that almost beat Edmonton.
Yeah, just you don't recognize it. So crazy.
Pizza's getting cold.
Pizza's getting cold. Your batteries are recharged, though. Unbelievable performance today.
All right. Good stuff, guys. We'll chat soon.
Bye, Nudes.
Take
There
care.
he is, Jamie McLennan on the Insider Hotline presentation of Crystal Waters Plumbing and Heating.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.